Hey, Trucker Todd here. Time for another video. In this video, I want to talk to you about something that we've heard a lot about, especially the last few years, and that is the driver shortage. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about a lot of different companies. This is not directed at Roadrunner Freight. I know a lot of my videos, they are the subject matter, but in this video, they're not. So, like always, I want to remind you guys, if you haven't already done it, make sure that you subscribe and click that bell notification so that you get notified about future videos. And also share this video with other people that you know that are in trucking or that you think might enjoy the content. Also, it would really help me a lot if you could give me a thumbs up. And in the description below, I always put my email address. Feel free to leave me a comment or shoot me an email, especially if you'd like to know more about Roadrunner Freight or coming to work here. All right, let's jump right in. So for several years now, we've been hearing that there's a driver shortage. These companies all need drivers. They can't get enough drivers. And each company is kind of approaching this problem in a different way. I want to talk to you about some of the more common ways I've heard of. And some of this was brought on. I read an article yesterday, Navistar, which makes international trucks. It's no big secret. They've been having financial problems for several years. Well, now the truck division of the German company Volkswagen is looking to buy International. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think about that as well. As you know, I like International trucks, but they've really struggled financially, especially since the downfall of cab-overs here in the United States. Now, overseas, cab-overs are still used a lot. Here, you rarely see them. And there's a whole different, we could do a whole nother video on why that is. But anyway, I said all that to say this. The trucking industry, as you saw with Navistar and with other companies that have been going out of business like Falcon and HVH and some of those, that it's really tight for the trucking companies right now. And a lot of them are struggling. I did a prediction video for 2020, and I said that I expected you'd see probably another big name or two go down this year or be bought up by another company, and I still believe that's true. But one of the big problems that trucking companies say is we are having trouble hiring drivers. There's a driver shortage. There's not enough drivers. And I thought we should look at what they're doing and maybe discuss why they're having the shortages they are. Some companies like CR England have gone to putting 3 bunks in the truck. And basically it's 3 trainees that train each other is their theory. I just don't think that's a very safe thing to do. And so I would never, I was thinking back when I first started driving, there's no way I would have went to a company where there was going to be 3 of us packed in a truck. Some companies have started hiring drivers from overseas, especially a lot of your Chicago area based companies. You guys know the ones I'm talking about. There's a lot of obvious problems with that. And I'm going to have to generalize here. I'm sure it's not true in every case. But a lot of times there's language barriers. If they're involved in an accident or they're stopped by DOT, they have trouble communicating with the officers. Even though it's a DOT requirement that you understand and read English, a lot of them really struggle with it. I don't know what it is. A lot of them have had trouble adhering to the rules. A lot of the really bad crashes that you hear about are from these Chicago-based companies that have hired foreign drivers. I don't know why that is. It could be they don't fully understand the laws here. It could be that their driving habits from overseas are different from their driving habits here. But I know there's been a lot of instances, there's been a lot of big lawsuits where these guys have had accidents. Another deal, and this has been going on for a long time, the ATA has proposed it, is we just need to lower the entry age. Let's hire 18-year-olds. Let's target the millennial group of people. Let's get them in trucking. And I'm not going to bash millennials. I'm not going to bash 18-year-olds because I started driving when I was 23 commercially. I've actually been driving a lot longer than that. It's a long story. But anyway, the problem with that is think of your average 18-year-old, your average millennial, just out of high school, maybe even just out of college. And you're single, you're wanting to sow your oats, you're wanting to date, and you're gone in a truck at least 3 weeks. I know drivers that stay out 3 or 4 months at a time. It's real hard to develop social skills and meet people for long-term relationships when you're starting out at a young age like that. Then let's say maybe you've already done that. Maybe you've got a wife and kids or a husband and kids or whatever the case may be. Being gone 3 weeks at a time is real tough, especially when there's little kids at home, when you're a young married couple like that. And I just don't know that. I'm sure you're going to get some drivers out of that, and I'm sure some of them are going to be good. But it seems like slim pickings in that age group. I would think the 30 to 40 age group would be a lot better, and we'll discuss that more in just a minute. So while you can, depending on what you're doing, make some money, it can be tough on your family. Another thing that they've started doing a lot of, and this is a great idea when it's possible, is targeting people that are leaving the military. They make great drivers. They have a lot of self-discipline. They're very conscious about deadlines and being on time. I think that's a great pool of people to pull from when possible. Obviously, there's some things that you've got to worry about there too. But for the most part, I think that's probably the strongest area to pull from. Now, I'm sure I'm missing some things. There's some other things that people are pulling from. The biggest problem I see, FreightWaves says that the average trucker income is about $45,000 a year. I just heard on the news the other day, listening to satellite radio, the average median income in the United States, now median income would be everybody in the house that works, you add all their income together, is about $65,000. Where I live in Lubbock, Texas, it's about $45,000. So if I'm a truck driver and you say, hey, you can come make $45,000 a year, and I live in Lubbock, which I realize most of you don't, I'm thinking, ooh, that's an average income. If I live somewhere else in the country, because remember, median means top of the bottom, bottom of the top. It's average. Some make more, some make less. If I live anywhere else in the country and you tell me, hey, you can go be away from your family for weeks at a time, possibly months, and you can make $20,000 less than the average income. How interested am I going to be in doing that? If I'm a college student and I'm going to class every day, and you say, hey, you can stop college and come drive a truck, and you'll make $45,000 a year. Are some people going to jump at that? Sure. But more than likely, they're not. And I think that's the problem in trucking. The companies that are paying well don't have a driver shortage. These mega companies that are doing their own little training schools and bringing people in as cheap as they can get them, they're having trouble hiring because they don't want to pay. We've seen it with the Arkansas-based company PAM. We've seen it with Walmart. They've both been in big, high publicity lawsuits lately for not paying the drivers for the time they're working. In some cases, like Pam, the driver's making minimum wage or less. For Walmart, they weren't being paid for all their off-duty time, basically. It's more complicated than that, but for the purposes of this video, we'll keep it to that. So I think you've got a little bit of a problem here. You've got an obvious situations where drivers need to be paid more, but you've got a situation where companies don't really have a lot of extra money to throw around right now. So what can they do? I think they've got to look at things that are possibly tax deductible, maybe offer better benefits or things like that. This is one of those videos I'd be real curious to see what you guys think. Email me or leave a comment below and tell me what you think. But yeah, that's I think another thing they might look at is more relay type freight where guys are home more. Earlier this year, I worked for a company where I hauled groceries to a grocery store. I was home every other day, and that may be the answer to the trucking industry. I don't know how long haul survives, say, over the next 10 years. I just think there's a hunger for people to be with their families and things like that. Right now, my kids are grown. My wife's getting ready to come with me probably in the next month or two. So I'm happy doing what I'm doing, but I know there's a lot of people in different situations that maybe not be. So leave me a comment below, shoot me an email, tell me what you think, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.